I'm in Seattle on the northwest coast of the United States, and I'm on my way to a major exhibition. But to be honest with you, it's incredible that it's going ahead at all, because what's being exhibited has had to endure years of attention from insects and rats, looters and Bedouin treasure hunters, and over-eager academics armed with sticky tape and glue. This is what I've come 5,000 miles to see. What's in these cabinets has been fought and argued over for 60 years. They've been described as the greatest manuscript discovery of modern times. These are the Dead Sea Scrolls. But along with the acclaim comes controversy. The scrolls have been dogged by accusations of conspiracy and cover-up, and rumors that they may contain secrets about the origins of Christianity. It's just over 60 years since their discovery, and it's time for a reappraisal. Like most people, I've heard of the Dead Sea Scrolls, but don't know what they actually contain. This is what's got me interested. Uncovering the story of the scrolls is going to take me around the world.
Now, this was the first time the scrolls were ever found. It's where the whole story started.
Some of the Dead Sea Scrolls might have been written or copied in this room.
God is coming, judgment is coming, now the axe is laid to the root of the tree. We have a story that is not just pure legend and myth.
A scandal erupted and the church realized that they had to control the information.
You know, it's just not a pretty picture.
It looks like burnt bits of toast.
Watch this. Presto chango.
My goodness. Wow.
Big issues of history turn on the proper interpretation of a single letter. And you can say, that's the letter.
Hidden for more than 2,000 years, the Dead Sea Scrolls will be in Seattle for just 105 days. I'm Eric Shadisky. We'll show you the scrolls before the exhibit even opens, coming up.
The Dead Sea Scrolls exhibition in Seattle has generated a huge amount of interest, with over 50,000 tickets sold before it's even opened. Today, the press are getting a sneak preview.
I think people expect that the scrolls are going to reveal something. They're going to unlock a code. They're going to bring a secret to light. And that sort of sense of expectation that we'll learn something about Jesus or something about Judaism in that era probably drives some of the interest. What kind of world am I entering? You'll meet some people who are making outlandish claims for them. So it's a world you'll have to tread lightly in, I would say.
So Jack, where do I start on this journey? Because it's exciting, but it's also complicated.
You need to go into Israel. You're going to need to go to some caves that are on the northwest corner of the Dead Sea, where these scrolls were discovered.
I'm heading to the lowest point on Earth. In half an hour's drive, you drop over 3,000 feet. The ruins of this war-damaged restaurant by the Dead Sea help me find my way. Well, the route I've driven is from Jerusalem, which is somewhere over there, through these hills. I'm now about here, and the caves I'm looking for will be somewhere along the Dead Sea coast. These cliffs on the edge of the Dead Sea are not somewhere where you wander by yourself in the summer heat. So I've arranged to meet one of Israel's leading archaeologists to be my guide. Professor Hanan Eshel has been excavating in this area for the past decade.
getting up.
In the beginning of 1947, two Bedouins, Muhammad David and his uncle, they climbed up the cliff and they found this cave. And the cave was blocked with stones. And they threw a stone from this entrance, and they heard a noise like the stone hit jars.
I see.
Now, they didn't have a flashlight, so they didn't know how much they will have to jump.
Right.
So they went down. The next morning, Muhammad David came by himself with a light. He crawled from the upper entrance and then
Squeezed into that little hole there.
right, and he jumped down,
Right.
which is not very high. And he jumped down,
Yeah.
and he told us that there were 8 jars lying here.
Right.
6 of them were empty, but in the last one there were 3 scrolls. 2 of them wrapped with textile, and 1 of them without textile. The 2 that were wrapped with textile are in perfect condition. Now, this was the first time the scrolls were ever found. It's where the whole story started.
Before 1947, the oldest known biblical manuscripts were from the medieval period. Cave 1 changed all that. Suddenly, scholars had texts 1,000 years older. There was 1 complete copy and 1 partial copy of the Book of Isaiah, a retelling of the Book of Genesis, a pesha or interpretation of the Old Testament book of Habakkuk, a literary style never seen before, plus other scrolls that seem to be the rules and practices of a radical and reclusive religious community led by the so-called Teacher of Righteousness. Muhammad's discoveries were not the oldest examples of writing to be found. Hundreds of hieroglyphs and clay texts had already been uncovered in Egypt and Babylon. But in the land of Israel, writing had been on fragile parchment and papyrus. So the fact that the scrolls had survived for 2,000 years was a shock to the academic community. The scrolls also raised intriguing questions. They were written at the time of Jesus. Could they tell us about the origins of early Christianity? Might other caves be hiding a lost gospel? In the years following the discovery of Cave 1, the prospect of such academic treasures led to a scroll rush as archaeologists competed with Bedouin in searching the cliffs by the Dead Sea.
This is the biggest cave where scrolls were found. There were here 30 scrolls, 4 of them in wonderful condition. But the most important scroll that was found here is the temple scroll. This is the longest scroll that we have.
Of all of them?
Of all of them. It's more than 8 meters.
And it's got a really strong smell in here.
This is the smell of the caves, and this is the smell of the scrolls. This is bat droppings.
Right, okay.
This is exactly what it is.
Yeah. So you'll always associate this smell with the Dead Sea Scrolls?
Probably, yes. This is the smell of the scrolls that I found, and this is the smell of the scrolls that other people found. Exactly.
Although the caves are celebrated today, I can't help but feel that there's something tragic about them. I suppose it's the thought that whoever placed the scrolls in the caves was never actually able to return and retrieve them. Bedouin brought many of the scrolls they found in the caves here to the École Biblique, the French Dominican archaeological school in East Jerusalem. Geyser Vermeersch, now a leading authority on the scrolls, came here as a young priest in 1952, eager to get his first glimpse of these remarkable documents. Geyser remembers well the haggling over the scrolls that took place between the Bedouin and the monks, led by the École's director, Father Roland Deveau.